What is happening, viewers? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have round 5 of the ACR MX5 League this week from Hockenheim. Quick look at the standings. Bo Dixon is still in P1 on 195, Dylan DeCosta on 149, Anton Tomega on 133. Ourselves in 4th place on 127. Only short highlights tonight of race 1, but still worth watching. Race 2, fantastic, epic. Make sure you stay tuned for the very final lap of race 2. We've managed to qualify P4 tonight, our highest grid position of the entire season. No Dylan DeCosta tonight, so you've got Bo Dixon and Enzo Gibbert on the front row. Steve Field, a new driver for tonight, lines up P3, and obviously ourselves in P4. So that's enough of me waffling. Let's crack on with race 1. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you're watching. On with race 1. P4 viewers, what can we do from here?
It is Bo Dixon on pole position, Enzo Gibbert in 2nd spot, Steve Field and Adam Christopher on the 2nd row, Mark Cloud, Paul Matthews on the 3rd row of the grid. Lenny de Jong, John Gray, Berg Amazement and Rich Page are your top 10. 15 minutes of racing action here at Hockenheim. It's round 9 of 20 in our MX5 Championship season number 1. They've got to wait until they go across the line, and then they will be allowed to accelerate through, and we are across the line. Here we go. We are green light racing, and Bo Dixon takes a very handed lead in towards turn number 1. It goes into single file relatively quickly, but the choke point will be turn number 2. Bo bounces the car over the curb, going to lose a little bit of momentum. Enzo Gibbert might be in a position to send one down the inside of turn 2. Adam Christopher already trying to make a move then potentially for a P3, has the inside line down in towards turn number 2. Lovely bit of side-by-side action between the two of them. Field is going to have to give it up. He does indeed. Mark Cloud now going to close in onto the back of Steve Field. Enzo Gibbert very close though behind Bo Dixon. This is for the lead of the race. As we head down towards the hairpin.
The Steve Field there a bit slow through turn 1, or slower than we expected, so we had to get that move done into turn 2. We're now going to break down for the hairpin. If you look in the mirror, he's going to send it from miles back down the inside. We've got to give a little bit of room on the apex. And Steve Field's up into P3. We're back down to P4. Okay, you know what? Fair enough. We sent it on Steve. He's now sent it back on us. We now settle into the groove and don't want to make a move. We just got to get away from the group behind us and catch up with the 2 ahead. So we now skip ahead a long way into the race because that's all we've been doing. We've been sat behind him, waiting patiently for our opportunity to come.
Bo Dixon going to take the outside line. Enzo Gibbert will have to take a very tight angle through turn number 7. And that means he's going to be slower through this part of the corner here. Will Bo be able to get an overlap down in towards the final 4 corners? I think he just about will, but I'm sure he'll back out of this. Or is he going to go for it? No, he doesn't. He backs out of it, decides against it, realises that there's a better opportunity probably on the next lap. The gap now down to 2.5 seconds, though, between the 2 behind. So Steve Field and Adam Christopher, if they're clever here, if they work together and don't force the issue too much, they will catch up to the front 2. So right now, Adam Christopher has to make a decision. Does he want to battle for the podium, or does he potentially want to win this race? I think the race wins on if these 2 work together. They've got a nice gap to play with the group behind. As Steve Field falls off the track there, luckily, all is good. Well, we'll actually find out exactly whether these 2 are going to battle. They're not. So Adam Christopher doesn't decide to make a move, which is probably the clever play, I would say. And he's got to hope that the front 2 really go toe-to-toe.
So for now, we're happy to think of the bigger picture, just settling behind. But just as we break down to turn 2, the rear steps out because of that rear brake bias we have on the car. Lose loads of time. Now we've got to build that back up again. But we have been happy to sit behind Steve Field in P3 as we now skip ahead by a lap. We've managed to close that gap back in pretty much. But there's going to come a time where we start to get impatient. There's only 2 laps to go now. Probably now need to start thinking of the podium rather than the actual race win.
Down in towards turn number 2. Are we going to see Enzo Gibbert try and make something happen? I don't think he's quite close enough this time round. The gap is only 2 seconds between the front 4. So Steve Field has closed in once again. These 2. Keep an eye out on these 2. Got to be clever. Adam Christopher, give me a little nudge if you get close enough. Try and push towards the front 2. Steve Field goes defensive. I think they've given up on the idea of being patient. Yeah, they have. They have given up on the idea. They're going for the podium now. So Steve Field's going to run a little bit deep on the exit. So they have definitely given up on the idea of catching the front 2.
Yeah, time to just go for the podium now between the two of us. I don't think we're going to close up 2 seconds on them front two, unless they have some kind of incident. But yeah, let's go for the podium. We've only got just over a lap to go. There's one more lap left at the end of this one. What can we make happen?
I can tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, the reverse grid is P16. So Naomi Salai and Den Carter will be your front row for race number 2 as it stands. So top 16 reversed, which is going to be a very special second race. Adam Christopher still trying to make something happen. We're going to head on to the final lap of the race this time round. Is there still a chance of some magic for these two? I'm not sure there is. Not sure there's enough time for them to catch up to the front two. Enzo Gibbert, has he waited or has he left it too late? Has he waited for the perfect opportunity? I'm not sure he's quite close enough. I think Bo right now will be happy with half a second gap between the two of them.
Purple first sector on that last lap just got nice. We've got some pace through the first sector. I mean, we're pretty much pacing to the front two now, us two, but we've lost a bit of time. We get a great run through turn 1 again. Close right up on Steve Field. We could potentially make a lunge into this right-hander, but we don't want to do it. We want to get a good run off of this corner, down the long back straight, into the hairpin. We want to try and get to the inside if we can. We've always gone to the outside of Steve. We want to try and catch him unawares now, because it's the last lap, and see if there's a way that we can try and get over to the inside, even with him defending it.
Up to the leaders once again through turn number 3. Adam Christopher trying to find a gap here. Look at this, Steve Field forcing him to go wide, but Adam Christopher has found that inside line. Oh boy, he had to take it on. Steve Field just gives him a nudge on the exit, will get his nose back ahead. Now there's some door banging between the two of them. Oh, no love lost there. It was fair though. It was harsh, but it was absolutely fair. I think Bo Dixon's got the job done.
Was it? I mean, 50-50 maybe. I mean, I feel like we managed to get it stopped onto the apex of the hairpin there, but the shove on the apex from Steve got him back underneath us. Either way, we're now getting ragged. Look, we're getting ragged because we thought we had the job done then. We thought we'd nailed our breaking point, and now we've just managed to lose that gap to him again. We have to try and make something happen in this stadium section, but a couple of tenths gap. Where are we going to find a gap? Are we going to find a gap? Can we send it somewhere? Let's see.
Back up to the leaders. Bo Dixon's going to get it done. He is absolutely going to get it done. It's going to be Bo Dixon P1. It's going to be Enzo Gibbert that finishes in P2. Steve Field, will he be P3 on his debut? Is it going to be a podium for Steve Field on his debut? It's going to be close. Christopher trying to open up the final corner. It's not going to be enough. And well, it's going to be a podium.
So across the line in P4, Steve Field gets a podium on his first event with us. Good finish. Happy with P4. Good pace in that. We now skip ahead to race 2. Top 16 got reversed, as you heard. So we start P13. Let's see what we can do.
So Naomi Sly is in P1. Den Carter P2. Then we got Anthony Hobbs, Simon Wardle, Kim Lays, Rich Page, Paul Matthews, Anton Tomenga, Lenny de Jong, and indeed John Gray as your 10 or top 10 drivers. 15 minutes of racing action. Is a reverse grid. This should be very much a fun event to watch. And we are green light racing. Off we go. Salai takes them down towards turn number 1. They will go down into single file relatively quickly as we come through. It's a nice little gap made by Salai already. Den Carter under some pressure from Anthony Hobbs. Then we've got Simon Wardle just in behind them as well. It's almost 3 wide in the background here. Jesus Christ.
So going into turn 2, Mark Cloud seems to make a mistake. This is the apex, so that gives us that position. We're up into P12. Now, where do you go? It's a bit of a lottery, because right now we've got this whole bunch of cars in front of us. You don't really know whether to go to the inside, go to the outside of this hairpin. You don't want to go to the outside in case you get cleaned out. We're just in the slipstream. We're going to sort of keep our options open. Keep an eye on the white car ahead of us, John Gray. He's going to send it down the inside very boldly, which ends up taking out Paul Matthews. We're going to jig through on the inside. Managed to get loads of positions. We're into P7 from that shenanigans. We've now got Tomenga on the left-hand side of it. We're just trying to squeeze him out. We're trying to just sort of nerve him out if we can. Through the right-hander, we've managed to do that. We're now going to take the defensive line into the left-hander. We break really early. Tomenga goes round the outside of us. We've got no answer for that. And we lose the position again. Really good driving from Tomenga. Really poor driving from us. I don't know why we break so early, to be honest. As we now come into the stadium section. Need to regroup. If you look behind us, we've got Berger Mazeman. Right behind him, we've got Enzo Gibbert. So Enzo Gibbert, despite all of that stuff going on at the hairpin, he's still up into P9, P10. He's sort of looking to try and get a Berger Mazeman. We're going to try and get up the inside of Semenga. Again, can't make the move done as we just bank panels a bit. Enzo Gibbert now being able to get past Berger Mazeman behind us. So we've now got Gibbert behind us. We've got to try and make some moves if we can. Coming off the final corner, even if we get a good run, it's very hard to overtake. You don't really want to overtake into the first corner because you can just see us feathering the brake pedal. We're just feathering the brake pedal. We want to give ourselves a gap so we can carry the speed through this first corner, get a good run off of it. We're going to use this speed. We're going to keep to the left, to the outside, put two wheels on the curb, on the grass maybe. Yeah. And now the outside opens up for us deep on the brakes, round the outside of turn 2. So we're now 2 by 2. Ahead of us, we've got Anthony Hobbs and Kim Lays. Kim Lays over to the right-hand side. Now, if we've got the slipstream from Anthony Hobbs, we could pass all 3 cars here in 2 corners if we can make it happen. On the power, in the slipstream, Anthony Hobbs, is he going to defend it? No, he's not. We're just going to already show him that we're going to look down the inside. We just got to make sure we get our braking point right there on the brake. We've got to come off the brakes a bit just to make sure the car rolls into the corner. Get a good run off. And that is us done. Up into P5. Enzo Gibbert still hasn't made his way past these 2 drivers. We need to bolt now while we can. We're going to go through the right-hander. We just need to make sure we get our braking done. Is Anthony Hobbs going to send it? No, he's not. He's sensible and just tucks in behind us. We carry the speed through the left. Now we're going to skip further ahead into the race by towards the end of the lap. And we've now got Simon Wardle ahead of us. We're going to try and carry the speed once again through turn 1. It's going to be pretty good through turn 1, but we lumped that sausage curve, which was a bit annoying. Now we could look to send it down the inside of turn 2 here, but we shouldn't, because we need to get a good run off this corner. That's what's more important. Get slipstream. If you look over to the left-hand side, you see Den Carter's lost it from P2. That puts up into P4, but Enzo Gibbert now right behind us in P5. We have got a 1.2 second gap back to him though. So we have to try and make this move on Simon Wardle where we can. Problem is, because he's got the slipstream of the car ahead of him, every time we pull out, he seems to get a gap on us. We've got to keep tucking it back in again. But we're going to just send it down the inside on the brakes. Keep over to the left as much as we can to open the corner up. Nice. Really happy with that move. Could not have done that better if I tried again. Up into P3. Richard Page in P2. We've got Simon Walden now right behind us. And Enzo Gibbert behind him. Now as we brake into this left-hander, keep an eye on the gears. For some reason, we knock it into neutral accidentally. And then when we go back up into first gear again, the rear slaps out. We have to correct it. Simon Walden's back past us again. So frustrating.
Enzo Gibbert, how far can he go? 9 minutes 42 seconds left on the clock. Can he go all the way and get to the lead of this race? I think he can. 3.2 seconds the difference. In terms of lap time, he's done a 56.8 on the previous lap. He was almost a second faster than Noemi Salai. So I think you'll find that Salai might be caught by Adam Christopher, maybe even Enzo Gibbert, if not both.
We've now got Enzo Gibbert all over the back of us, and look, right behind him is Bo Dixon. So the 2 quick drivers are right on the back of us. We need to make something happen here. Once again, we're back behind Simon Wardle again as we were at the end of the last lap. We get a good run, but we don't want to send it through turn 1 because it's such a fast right-hander. We're just going to feather the brakes once again, look, so that we get a good run through this corner. Make sure we can carry the speed through the apex, maintain the run off the corner. There we go. Get to the inside. That should be job done into turn 2. On the brake, can we get P3? Yes, we can.
Down in towards turn 2. And Wardle's just let them all go through. So Wardle's just decided to kind of get out of the way there. Fair play, I guess. I guess he figures that's going to be the quickest way of him getting to the end of the race. But now, Adam Christopher, Enzo Gibbert, Bo Dixon are on the same bit of tarmac. 8 minutes to go, and they're off to chase down Richard Page. Look at them, almost 3 wide. As Enzo Gibbert's going to be forced to go round the outside of Adam Christopher. Adam Christopher holds firm, hits the apex. Enzo Gibbert, well, that's a kind of you shout not pass. Brilliant stuff there between the 2 of them. So patience is going to be the name of the game. Through the kink. They will catch up to Rich Page. How late on the brakes will Enzo Gibbert be able to go? not later than Adam Christopher, although he's on the power nice and early. A little bit of a nudge once again. And now they've got to try and negotiate Rich Page, but at the same time not lose position with someone behind. This is a very fascinating point of this race. Half the race still to go. Gap between the leaders in this group is about 2.5 seconds. So Salai has got to be hoping that these all fight crazily. It's going to be a mistake here from Page. He's going to run wide, but luckily there's grip on the top side of the corner as well as the inside. And again, Adam Christopher's got to be patient. There's Bo Dixon now, takes the opportunity after Enzo makes a mistake. And now Enzo Gibbert trying to retake the position. This is exactly what Salai needs if she wants to win this race. Side by side between the two of them. Adam Christopher gets a bit of breathing space. Bo Dixon, well, he's off to rallycross himself. And I think Christopher has to send it at this point. He needs to get a car between them. Although, it's going to be tight. Rich Page will be hoping that there's a slowdown for Adam Christopher. There's no notifications. We got away with that. Christopher does run wide. But unfortunately, for Rich Page, it's not going to pay dividends. Rich Page then trying to hold on to a podium position. He's now fighting with Enzo Gibbert. Bo Dixon here as well. Can Bo Dixon make it 3 wide? He can't. Enzo Gibbert forced to run wide. He's going to be slow on the exit. Noemi Salai maybe gains a couple of tenths of a second. Adam Christopher not getting involved. He's trying to break the toe. These three very close indeed. Enzo Gibbert pulls out to try and make a potential move. There's a group of 4 cars behind as well, trying to have some fun. Bo Dixon goes very late on the brakes, using all of the curbing. He's going to lose time for sure. Enzo Gibbert's going to come through. Rich Page and him have contact. And Rich Page has got every right to be pissed there. I think Enzo's being a little bit aggressive. So Enzo Gibbert would probably be, I would say he should give that position back.
So Enzo Gibbert getting a bit forceful past Richard Page. You can see that we got through. Now we're trying to hunt down Noemi in first. They're both now into P3 and P4 behind us, look.
They all now come through. Ikut Biela's out the race. Steve Field looks like he's out of the race as well as Lenny de Jong. Bo in behind Enzo. They've now caught up to Adam Christopher. The gap between the front two is 1.8 seconds. You can start voting for your driver of the day.
So as we come now into the stadium section, what have we got? 1.4, 1.5 seconds to Noemi with 2 laps to go. I think there is at the end of this one. Enzo Gibbert P3, Bo Dixon P4. We've got, on top of trying to catch Noemi, we've got to keep these two at bay behind us as best we can. We've already held Enzo off once into the hairpin. We've just got to keep doing that. That's the only chance we're going to have to win this race, I feel, is by keeping these 2 quicker guys behind us into the first corner.
Through turn 1, 5 minutes left on the clock. These 3 are all very quick. Adam Christopher maybe not as quick as Enzo and Bo. It's not a lot. And you know, again, not doing anyone disservice here. Adam's a very quick driver, but these 2 are like elite level. So in terms of the order you want it to be in, you kind of want it to be like this. This is going to be interesting, isn't it? Ikut Biela's back out of the pits. So again, just finishing these races, you get classified as a finisher. You get 2 bonus points. You want to make sure that you're finishing races. Enzo Gibbert trying to find a move on Adam Christopher. Adam Christopher, though, is going to hold firm. Noemi Salai has been caught. Merely a few laps to go. This group is now 4. I think Rich Page may catch up if they start battling once again. So
we've managed to take a second out of Noemi since the stadium section of the last lap. We break now down into the left-hander. Oh, look at the rear snapping around. Noemi's lost the rear of her car as well. We're right onto the back of her now. Can we get a good run off this right-hander? Try and get down the inside is what we're going to try and do if we can.
Adam Christopher and Noemi Salai battling for the lead. I think Christopher realises very quickly that he needs to put a car between him, Enzo and Bo, and he has done. He absolutely has done, as Enzo Gibbert now tries to force it. Going to get away with that. He got the job done. Bo Dixon now going to come through on Salai as well, and that was actually very nice indeed. Nothing too crazy about that. Anthony Hobbs battling with Kim Blaze. This is for a top 10 with only a couple of laps remaining. Can Adam Christopher hold on and get another race victory under his belt? He needs Bo to really fight with Enzo Gibbert. They will give him an opportunity.
So now we've got 2 laps to go, this lap and the next one. Into P1, Enzo Gibbert in P2, Bo Dixon in P3. We need to get a good run off this corner, as we've been saying the whole race. We've done all right. Rear steps out a little bit, but we're okay. We've got a bit of a gap. We've got a couple of tenths. We're going to jink to the inside of the circuit, try and break that toe as best we can. But we know Enzo's now going to send it. There's no one in front of us who's going to send it, so we're going to try and go defensive. We've got to try and steer away from getting down that inside of us. So we're going to go to the middle of the track, to the right-hand side of the track. We're going to look for our braking marker. We just miss it by inches, so we've overshot the corner a little bit.
Adam Christopher runs wide, and I tell you what, Enzo Gibbert's got a hell of a run. So as we head down towards the Kinky, we'll have the inside line towards the stadium section, but Bo's pushing Enzo Gibbert here. I think Adam Christopher might be in a little trouble. He is. Enzo Gibbert then does indeed bring the car across. Adam Christopher's looking for a move. He's going to give a slight tap to Enzo Gibbert. Bo and Adam Christopher have contact with each other. Not really. I don't think that's avoidable. I do not think that's avoidable contact. But look at this. The cluster of cars is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Rich Page is now going to join this party. And I think Simon Wardle, keep an eye out for Simon Wardle, ladies and gentlemen. He let a group of 4 cars go by earlier, and he was just thinking about his long-term race. On the final lap, if this shit hits the fan with this group of cars up front, Simon Wardle has got a lot to gain. A huge amount to gain. So around the final couple of corners, 1 lap remains. Enzo Gibbert versus Bo Dixon. You know Bo's sending it at some point. He has to make an overtake. He wants another race win. Adam Christopher's sat ready to take full advantage. We saw Bo, Enzo and Dylan DaCosta all have a calamitous final lap last time out of Road America, which handed Adam Christopher the victory, and he is sat there waiting for that same opportunity again. Into the final lap, Bo Dixon with a better run through turn number 1. Is he going to get the run down towards turn number 2? He does. Lay on the brakes. You can see the front of the car biting down, gripping into the track as they brake. He does get ahead. And now Adam Christopher closes the gap as well. The MX5 again proving to be a very exciting championship. If you've not already signed up for this championship and you are free on Mondays, hashtag website, come and join. We've got spaces in our MX5s and WTCRs. Adam Christopher is going to try and make a move around the outside in towards the hairpin. There we go. He pulls over. He's going to open up this corner. Enzo Gibbert has got that inside line. Bo Dixon is kind of the meat in the sandwich here. Adam Christopher needs to get that power down early, and he has done. Has he got the run though on Enzo Gibbert? I don't think he has, but he's got the toe. Bo Dixon now into the lead of this race. It is the final lap as they come through the kink. Will Adam Christopher be able to follow Bo Dixon through with that inside line? Enzo Gibbert's going to have to take the outside line through the stadium section corner. He then gets ushered out by Bo Dixon. They are fighting tooth and nail for this race victory. Almost a tag there from Enzo onto Adam Christopher. Christopher should have the run, though back on Enzo Gibbert. Bo Dixon makes a slight error as we head down towards the final few corners. Well, Bo has let him go. So Bo has let Enzo go. I think he must have had a slowdown penalty. And as we come up towards that final couple of corners, it is anyone from 5. It is Enzo Gibbert, Bo Dixon, Adam Christopher. It is Naomi Sly and Rich Page who's going to take the victory. Enzo Gibbert looks like he is going to get this job done. Adam Christopher now up to P2. And wow, what an incredible finish. 2 corners to go. Naomi Sly sends it on Bo Dixon. Absolutely sends it. Bo's been sent off track. So Enzo Gibbert's going to take the victory here. Adam Christopher's going to take second. Wardle did wait. He waited patiently and he did have the cluster happen. Naomi Sly, I think, is trying to let Bo go. And Bo Dixon, championship leader, down in P8, is going to lose some ground today.
What a finish to that race. What a race in general, coming from 16th up to 2nd. So 2 really good races. Thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, remember to like and subscribe. Tune in next week. All the best. See you then.